I packed 2 separate computers into my bag before leaving home for a full week of work. One was my trusty laptop, a machine I have relied on for years to get every major job done. The other was a new tablet from Lenovo, a device I was supposed to test for a simple review. I fully expected to use the tablet for an hour or 2 each day to watch videos or scroll through web pages, and then pull out my laptop whenever real work needed to get done. That was the plan. But plans change very quickly when real-life testing begins. By the time 4 or 5 days had passed, I noticed a very strange pattern in my daily routine. My laptop had not left my backpack a single time. It sat in the back pocket, untouched, completely turned off, while this single piece of glass handled every single task I threw at it. I answered hundreds of messages, wrote long project drafts, organized daily schedules, attended virtual team meetings, and spent hours researching topics online. The tablet handled all of it without slowing down or making me feel like I was compromising. For a brief moment, I genuinely believed that the age of the traditional laptop was completely over for me. I thought I had finally found the one mobile device that could do every single thing a heavy computer could do, without any of the extra weight or bulky power bricks. But then, right near the end of my testing period, I tried to complete one specific multi-layered job. That single task brought my entire workflow to a sudden halt. It completely flipped my perspective on what this machine actually is, and it highlighted the exact line where a mobile operating system stops working like a real computer. By the time we reach the end of this discussion, you will know every detail of what happened during that test, and more importantly, you will know if this tablet can actually replace your main computer or if it is just another fast mobile screen with high marketing promises. To truly understand why this specific product matters so much right now, we have to look back at how the tablet market worked for nearly a decade. For a very long time, buying a tablet was an extremely simple decision because there were only 2 real paths you could take. If you had plenty of money and wanted the absolute best screen, the best app selection, and the fastest performance, you went straight to an Apple store and bought an iPad. If you preferred Android or wanted something that worked better with Google services, Samsung was almost always the only safe, reliable choice you could make. Lenovo was certainly around during those years, but they occupied a very different space in the industry. They were primarily known for making low-cost, budget-friendly devices. These were the kinds of basic tablets parents bought for young children to watch cartoons on, or that students bought just to read digital textbooks on a tight budget. They were fine for the money, but nobody looked at a Lenovo tablet and thought of it as a premium device that could challenge the best machines built by Apple or Samsung. That entire situation began to shift in a big way just last year. Lenovo released the first version of their IdeaPad Pro tablet, and it completely caught the tech world off guard. Instead of trying to build an ultra-expensive device packed with strange features nobody actually uses, Lenovo focused on a much smarter strategy. They looked at what normal people actually do with their screens every single day. They realized that most users spend their time browsing heavy websites, streaming high-definition video, reading long documents, and taking notes. So Lenovo built a machine around those exact core needs. They gave the original model a massive, clear screen, smooth performance, strong speakers, and support for a keyboard and pen, all while keeping the price significantly lower than the competition. It immediately became one of the smartest value choices on the market. Millions of buyers realized that they did not need to spend $1,000 just to get a great digital experience. They did not need a professional-grade processor just to reply to emails and watch movies on a flight. Now Lenovo has launched the second generation of that same idea, but this time around, they are not playing defense. They are not content with just being the budget alternative anymore. With the new IdeaPad Pro Gen 2, the company is aiming straight for the top of the mid-range market. They took nearly every part of the previous generation that users liked and gave it a massive hardware upgrade. The inner engine received a total overhaul. Instead of using a basic processor, Lenovo equipped this new model with a Snapdragon 8's Gen 4 system. This is a massive leap forward in speed, energy efficiency, and graphics power compared to the chips used in previous models. But the upgrades do not stop on the inside. The physical screen has been enlarged to a full 13 inches, offering a huge canvas that completely changes how you interact with your work. The screen resolution has been bumped up to a razor-sharp 3.5K level, meaning that text looks like print on paper, and fine details in photos and videos look remarkably clear. On top of that, they added a 144Hz refresh rate, which makes every movement on the screen look buttery smooth, along with support for the latest Wi-Fi 7 wireless standards for ultra-fast downloads. These are specs that used to be strictly saved for ultra-expensive flagship screens. Because of these huge hardware jumps, this tablet is no longer competing against basic, cheap devices. It has stepped right into the ring with major players like the iPad Air, Samsung's Galaxy Tab FE series, and the popular OnePlus Pad line. Those are incredibly tough competitors with loyal fans, which meant Lenovo could not rely on basic specs alone. They had to deliver a great real-world user experience. The very first second you pull this tablet out of its packaging, the massive 13-inch display instantly dominates your attention. A screen size jump like this might sound small on paper when you just read numbers, but in actual daily use, it completely transforms how the device feels. Smaller screens force you to look at one thing at a time, but a 13-inch panel gives you the physical space of a real laptop screen. Reading long PDF documents, detailed spreadsheets, or news articles becomes instantly more comfortable because you do not have to constantly zoom in to read small print. The extra screen real estate also makes split-screen multitasking practical for the very first time on an Android screen. On smaller tablets, splitting the screen between two apps makes both windows feel cramped and hard to use. On this 13-inch panel, you can easily open a full web browser on the left side while keeping a note-taking app or document editor wide open on the right side. Both applications have enough space to display their full layout without hiding important buttons or text. When you sit down to relax at the end of the day, that display turns into an incredible media player. Streaming high-resolution movies or watching video content is a fantastic experience because the colors pop off the screen and the sheer scale makes everything feel cinematic. It is not just about the large size though, the actual quality of the panel is top tier. Text looks clean, images show vibrant contrast, and the super high 144 Hz refresh rate makes every interaction feel immediate. When you drag your finger across the glass to scroll down a heavy web page or move between open applications, there is zero delay or stutter. Everything glides across the screen effortlessly. Even standard daily routines, like skimming through news feeds or checking long email chains, feel far more polished simply because the screen responds instantly to every input. Performance was another area where this machine pleasantly surprised me during my week of daily testing. I have always felt that a lot of tech reviews get far too caught up in synthetic benchmark numbers and technical test scores. Most regular people do not buy a new tablet because it scored a higher number in a specialized stress test app that they will never open again. They buy a tablet because they want their apps to open without delay, their web pages to load instantly, and their system to stay fast when they switch between work tools. That real-world speed is precisely where this new processor shines. Throughout my entire testing period, I never felt like I was waiting on the machine to catch up with my hands. Apps opened up instantly the moment I tapped their icons. Switching back and forth between 5 or 6 active programs never caused the tablet to freeze or lose my place. I put this machine through a very heavy daily workload. I spent long sessions typing out full-length scripts, responding to endless strings of work emails, researching detailed topics across dozens of open browser tabs, watching high-definition videos while simultaneously keeping a notes window open, attending long video conferences, and editing large text files. Not once during any of those tasks did I have to stop and think about the processor inside.